Shalom and welcome to another lesson in Hebrew. My name is Tom Howling and today's lesson will come to us from Yehuchanan, or in modern Hebrew, Yochanan, and in English, John chapter 9 verses 38 to 41. So we will now begin. And we begin firstly by just showing you, if you're not accustomed to it, the valve marking chart and how to use the valve marks. They are called Nikud, and also these great resources which we would encourage you to use. They will help you a lot in your practice of the Hebrew. And so let us begin. And so, as we can see, we're in verse 38. It's represented with Lamed, which has a value of 30, and a Chet, which has a value of 8, being the 8th letter of the alphabet. And so let us go through the letters just to refresh our memories. Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Aleph, Nun, Yod, Mem, Aleph, Mem, Yod, Nun Safit, meaning a nun at the end of a word, which is different than a normal nun, which we can see here as a normal nun. Then we have an Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod, Vav, Yod, Shin, Tav, Chet, Vav, Lamed, Vav. And so just a few common rules. The Aleph, when you see it in white, it's silent, unless it has a vowel with it. And so we read, Va Yo Mer. And he said. Why is it he? Because there's no pronoun, so we can assume it is he. Ani, I am. And he said, I am. Now we're talking, of course, about the man that was blind and he was healed, and then Yeshua meets him after he was cast out of the synagogue, and he sort of asks him, do you believe in the Son of Man? And he's asking, who is he? And he said, Ani, I am ma'amin, believing. Now it's often translated, I believe. But because of the mem, I thought to use it as believing as a participle form. And then we have Adoni, my master. Vayishtachu, and he bowed. And we can see it comes from the root yishtach, which is the verb shall bow, will bow. And then I've given you a grammar note to help you understand that. With the vav and the yod prefix, which we see there, it makes it a perfect, complete form as the vav reverses the tense. So it's no longer will or shall, it is a completed form. And he bowed. Lo, meaning to him, with here the cholam telling us it's a pronoun, it means him, he or him. And so we see it says here, and he said, my master, I believe, and he bowed down to him. And so we read it, Va yomer, ani, ma'amin, Adoni, Vayishtachu, lo. And he said, I am believing my master, and he bowed to him. And so we now turn to 39a, represented with Lamed, which has a value of 30 again, and a Tet being the 9th letter of the alphabet. Then we go Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Aleph, Nun, Yod, Vayet, because there's no dot, Aleph, Tav, Yod, Lamed, Ayin, Vav, Lamed, Mem, Sofit, He, Zion, He, Lamed, Dalet, Yod, Nun, Sofit. And again we see an ayin with no colour, meaning we do not pronounce it. So we read, Va Yomer, and he said, this time it's Yahushua, or Yahusha, Ani, I, Vati, I came, La'olam, to the world, Hazeh, this, in other words, to this world, La Din, to judge, And we've got the root here, din, as a masculine noun. It's got to do with law, legal system, judgment, or justice. So the translation, and Yeshua said, for judgment I came into the world. And so now we can read that without any aids. Vayomer Yahushua ani vati la'olam hazeh ladin. And he said, Yeshua, I came to the world this to judge. What we know is often there's a bit of redundancy here, where we have I and then we have I again, because the T means I here. And that's called redundancy. Often they won't translate it, but I'm just giving you a direct translation. So now we can turn to 39b. We have a lamed, mem, ayin, nun, sofit, yod, resh, aleph, vav, hey, ayin, vav, resh, yod, mem, sofit, vav, hey, resh, aleph, yod, mem, sofit, yod, hey, yod, vav, lamed, ayin, vav, resh, yod, mem, sofit. And we read it. Le ma'an, so that Yiru, they shall see, ha'ivrim, meaning the blind, and we could say the blind ones, v'ha'roim, and the ones seeing, yiyu, they will become le'ivrim, for blind ones. So therefore the translation, I came into the world, so that those who are blind shall see, and those who see shall become blind. And so we read it. Le'ma'an yiru ha'ivrim v'ha'roim yiyu le'ivrim, so that they shall see the blind, and the ones seeing, they will become for blind ones. And then we have 40, represented with a mem. And then we have vav aleph shin resh, hey yod vav, ayin mem vav, mem nun sofit, hey pei, because of the dot, resh vav shin yod mem sofit, shin mem ayin vav, dalet veit, resh yod vav. And we read it, va'ashir, and who or whom, hayu, they were, imo, meaning with him, men from ha-perushim, the Pharisees, from the Pharisees. Shamu, they heard, devariv, his words. And there's a grammar note down here. The yod in the last word, devariv, indicates a plurality, and so it becomes words. And so the translation, those who were with him from the Pharisees heard his words. So let us read that now. Va'asher ha-yu imo min ha-perushim sham'u devariv. And who they were with him from the Pharisees, they heard his words. And so we get 40b. And we have a vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, vav. Aleph, lamed, yod, vav. Hey, gimel, mem, sofit. Aleph, nun, chet, nun, vav. Ayin, vav, resh, yod, mem, sofit. And we read it. Va yom ru. And they said, alive unto him, ha gam. Now this one is a question. It's called a questioning hey. So it is are also, anachnu, we, Ivrim, meaning blind ones. And I used blind ones because it's like a plural form, and it's often translated just blind, but we could better translate as blind ones. The Pharisees heard his words and said to him, "Are we not blind also?" And so we will read that now. Vayomru Eleiv Hagam Anachnu Ivrim. And they said unto him, "Are also we blind ones?" And so we turn to 41 now, and we have a mem and the Aleph. Aleph being the first letter of the alphabet, so it has a value of 1. Then we have Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Hey, Mem, Sofit, Lamed, Vav, Hey, Yod, Yod, Tav, Mem, Sofit, Ayin, Vav, Resh, Yod, Mem, Sofit, Lamed, Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey, Vayet, Kaf, Mem, Sofit, Chet, Tet, and Aleph. So I do it a little bit faster just to challenge you with the letters. So we read, Vayomer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, with the hem being them. Lu, if only. That could be if or if only. I used as if only. He ye tem, you were. Of course, the root of that is haya, to be. And then we have Ivrim, blind ones. Lo, not. Haya, it was. Remembering that without a pronoun you could say he or it. So I've just put in it was. Not it was. Va, kem. Now va meaning in, and kem is a plural form of you. And then chet, because remember the aleph is silent, and it means sin. If we look down here, chet as a masculine noun can mean sin, fault, misdeed, or misconduct. And so the translation, Yeshua said to them, if you were blind, sin would have not been in you. And so we read it. Vayomer Alehem Lu He Yitem Ivrim Lo Haya Vakem Chet. And he said unto them, if only you were blind ones, not it was in you sin. And now we come to 41. We have a Vav, Ayin, Tav, Hey. Aleph, Mem, Resh, Tav, Mem, Safid, Pei, because there's a dot there, Kuf, Chet, Yod, Mem, Safid, Aleph, Nun, Chet, Nun, Vav, Vav, Tav, Ayin, Mem, Dalet, Chet, Tet, Aleph, Tav, Kaf, Mem, Safid. And we read it. Va'ata. And now, Amartem, you say. And that's again plural you. Pikhim, sharp-sighted ones. Why did I say sharp-sighted ones? Because we look here and it is pikeach as an adjective means sharp-sighted, bright, smart, quick-witted. And because it's a plural form, I'm taking it as like ones. So because it's giving you a plural form, sharp-sighted ones. And then anachnu, we. V'ta'amod, and it will stand. Because of the tav, it's an imperfect form. And because the vav has a shavar under it, it doesn't reverse the tense because of that shavar. So it means it will stand. Chatat kem, your sin. Again, kem is your. And I've also given you pakach which is a cult verb to open one's eyes or ears. Interesting. Now you can see this sort of a relationship to being sharp-sighted or quick-witted, meaning they're saying we have open ears, we fully understand things. So, sin would not be in you, but now that you say we see, your sin remains. And so we can read that now. Ve'ata amartem pikchim anachnu ve'ta'amod chatatkem. And now you say, sharp-sighted ones, we, and it will stand, your sin. And now we come to our revision of those last verses of that chapter, and we see we got Lamed. We know that's 30. Chet, being the eighth letter, we know that's 8, so we're in 38. Vayomer, and he said, Ani, I am. Ma'amin, believing, Adoni, my master, Vayishtachu, and he bowed down low to him. And he said, I am believing, my master, and he bowed down to him. Now we have Lamed 30, Tet 9, so we're in 39. Vayomer, and he said, Yeshua, Ani, I, Vati, I came, La'olam, to the world, Hazeh, this, Ladin, to judge. And he said, Yahushua, I came to the world this to judge. Let ma'an, so that Yiru, they shall see, ha'ivrim, the blind ones, v'ha'ro'im, and the ones seeing, Yiyu, they shall become le'ivrim, for blind ones, so that they shall see the blind ones, and the ones seeing, they will become for blind ones. And so we now come to 40. We have Va'asher, and whom Hayu, they were, Imo, with him, men from Ha-Perishim, the Pharisees, Shamu, they heard, Devarav, his words. And whom they were with him from the Pharisees, they heard his words. Vayomru, and they said, Eliv, unto him, Hagam, are also, Anachnu, we, Ivrim, blind ones? And they said unto him, are also we blind ones? And then we have a Mem 40, Aleph 1. We're in 41. Vayomer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, Lu, if only, He ye tem, you were, Ivrim, blind ones, lo, not, haya, it was, vakem, in you, chet, sin. And he said unto them, if only you were blind ones, not it was, in you, sin. And we continue with 41b, ve'ata, and now, and that can be also but now, amartem, you say, pikchim, which is sharp-sighted ones, anachnu, we, v'ta'amod, and it shall stand, chatat kem, your sin. And now, or but now, you say, sharp-sighted ones, we, and it will stand, your sin. And that completes the verses, and I just added this extra bit for anyone who's concerned. A note on the name. In our reading, I have included the name of our Master in the various forms that we often see to show its common usage, and so I will explain the forms here. Yeshua is often termed as ancient Aramaic, being a contracted form of the Hebrew Yehoshua with the Masoretic vowel markings to mean salvation in modern Hebrew. Yeshua, however, can only be found in the books of Ezra, Nehemiah, and Chronicles, much of what was written in Aramaic. Its root is Yahweh plus Yasha. And I've given you also the Strong's numbers here if you want to look them up. So the root of Shua, however, is Shava, or Strong's number H7768, meaning to cry out for help, therefore freedom from some trouble. Therefore, Yeshua could also mean he shall cry out for help. And so we also must be remembering that Yehoshua follows Masoretic vowel markings of about the 11th century, but other forms are considered by many to give a more precise meaning. Example, Yahusha, Hebrew, being a combination of Yahweh or Yahuwah plus Yasha. Now, Yasha from Strong's H3467 as a Hifel verb means to save, to deliver, to rescue, as shown in the Dead Sea Scrolls for the name Joshua, which appears as both Yahusha and Yahushua. But, and we can see that in the slides here, we see the different forms, Yahusha, Yahushua. Now, this is the original, but this is like a infrared form. And so, but the comment is not to get bogged down in the names. I've in my lessons given the various forms to appease those with their preference on the name, noting that a majority use Yeshua in modern terms. And so we now come to the image of our vowel markings. Remember that a kamatz is like a longer sounding A, and a patak is a shorter A sound. Zere is a longer E sound. Segol is a short one. And Shava is the form that breaks the word into its syllables. And then we have Cholam, the O sound. Shuruk, a short U. And Kubutz, a longer U. And then we have a combination of Shavar and Segol called a Kataf Segol. Then we have Chirik, the I sound. And then we see we got a Patak and a Shavar called a Kataf Patak. And then we have Shavar and a Kamatz called a Kataf Kamatz. And finally, of course, as I do each week, we repeat the resources, but also we give you the chart of the values so that we begin to remember them. So we do them randomly so that we start to remember each letter rather than just a sequence. So we have a pay, that could be a fay, but it has a value of 80. Then we have a resh 200, nun 50, kuf 100, zade 90, lamed 30, yod 10, chet 8, tet 9, Zion 7, Dalet 4, and Tav 400. And so that brings us to the end of this lesson. And we do pray you are blessed by going through these and you become more excited to learn more of the Hebrew and understand more. It will help you enormously when you look, especially in the Old Testament, the Tanakh, to see how the translations could be improved as we learn more about the Hebrew. So I just want to wish you a Shavua Tov, have a good week, and may Yeshua, our Master, and His truth fill you to overflowing. Amen.